Hello, I'm Jack McCoy. Welcome to my channel, Singerman USA. I have a website by the same name, Singerman USA. I have a Gmail if you ever want to reach to me by email, called singermanusa@gmail. Anyway, I like to start a series of posts all revolving around the art of singing. So I kind of loosely refer to this as mastering the art of singing, and we'll talk about this in a variety of approaches. And I haven't got to the age that I am and still be able to have a singing job without learning a thing or two about singing. And some people will tell you, hey, I've been singing for 50 years or whatever. Well, time is really not completely relevant because you might have been mastering the same techniques for 50 years as terms of all the mistakes you've made and you never made any improvements and that sort of thing. That can apply to any kind of instrument you play. So basically, if you have the attitude, though, you're trying to learn new things and better what it is you're doing, you're a true amateur in that you love what you're doing and you're gonna grow from that and you're gonna become better and better. With this little thing going on in the background here, it's called the Sphere. And if you want to check that out, it's called thesphere.com, and it's behind the Venetian Hotel where I've been working for the past 20-some years. Been lucky enough to, at my age, have a second career and doing the thing I really love to do, which is singing. And anyway, the first thing I would like to talk about in terms of singing is basically intonation. And before I get onto that, there's a very significant reason why I brought this up, because this is the first challenge I really faced as a singer. Now, I'd like to point out a few aspects. If you go to my site, Singerman USA, there's a variety of pages on there things I've done over the years. The first of which is as a gondolier. I wrote a little book called Memoirs of a Gondolier, and I kind of fell into that because I would always ask couples how it is they first met. And so I'd make a little parody, because years ago I used to do singing telegrams, and I would write parodies about people and their birthdays and anniversaries and that sort of thing, and kind of fell into doing that as a singing telegram. And anyway, so I would find all these stories about how it is people first met, and it got to be interesting. I'd hear all these stories, and they'd throw and make little parodies out of it. And then finally, somebody said, you should write a book, because I'd be telling some of the stories I heard. So I made a book out of that. It's called Memoirs of a Gondolier, Where Do People Find Love? And you'll find that's one of the pages on my channel, Singerman USA. So check it out. Anyway, so first thing is intonation. And let's say the first singing experience I really had was in choir, and I was in high school. My voice changed. I was 16 years old. My voice just dropped to the bottom, and so I became what they call a bass. My lowest voice range in choir is a bass. And so I studied with Nona Olson, and her and Gretchen Rust really took me in the hand and kind of helped me along, learning things about singing, this, that, and the other thing. But then I had a good voice because, both my parents have very good voices, neither one of them which wanted to sing as solo careers or that sort of thing. But I just kind of had the desire to always do that. But I had one educator that was a mother of one of my fellow students named Mrs. Martin, and she used to say, she'd come to me and says, you sing really good, but what are we going to do about your intonation? And I used to I thought everybody said I was great, and this is a good point, because a lot of times people who know you and family and stuff, they're always going to support you, and they don't want to be critical of you, or maybe in fact they don't even know what to say as far as how to approve anything that you're doing. They may not even know you have a problem or something. But the more trained ears, people who are singers and instrumentalists, that starting to think, are going to hear things. And she said, what are we going to do about your intonation? And that always kind of stuck to me, because it's it was an unpleasant thing. Didn't really want to hear it, didn't want to deal with it. But anyway, so I went on to school and to be a voice and music composition major. And I was doing that in college, and I had a variety of teachers and studied. And some of the best experience I had there, actually, which did teach a lot about intonation, points, relativity, that sort of thing, was madrigal singing. Madrigal singing, you don't have the benefit of having a choir behind you, or a piano, usually orchestra or something you work with, that kind of keeps everybody in pitch, keeps everybody on the pitch and the key of the song. Madrigal singing is really good training for that. If you ever had an opportunity, you want to improve your social skills, consider doing that. If you're, any kind of a barbershop quartet, anything that has basically all things a cappella, what that means, just singing, no voice accompaniment, you learn a lot about staying on pitch and that sort of thing. But it wasn't until I started studying with Dorothy Fisher Jones. She had the School of Opera, and long story short, a friend kind of drugged me there, and I reluctantly went to the School of Opera, and he could see, that some of these things that I'd been criticized before too, but he was very pleasant. He just said, you should come see this lady. So anyway, joined this thing, and she was very polite and very loving person in that she could be critical of you, but she could be specific about what it is you needed to do and how to go about doing it, not just criticize you. And they call it positive criticism. And if you're going to get people to help you in life, those are the people you're going to need who give you positive criticism, because they don't just tear you down. They actually know what it is you need and help you get there. And so what she said to me, which really changed my world, was when you're singing, everybody else hears you pretty much from their outer ear. And that's what they're hearing. That's what your voice sounds like. But for you, when you're singing, you got this inner ear thing going on here. You're hearing yourself from the inside, and you're hearing yourself from the outside. But as a trained singer, you got to learn how to sing from the outside here. You got to listen to your voice outside. Because you hear it in here, it's easy to the point where you can get out of pitch. You don't realize it, but you're starting to sing on a tune, and you don't always realize it because you're just humming away and things are sounding real good in your head. But so there's a real difference between inner and outer ear. But like I said, a good voice teacher worth their gold can kind of put you in that direction where you just listen to your outer ear. And my voice teacher had a way of putting this. It's like when you're singing, you're listening outside, and it's like you're putting all notes together. Outside, out here, like you're stringing pearls onto a string of, on a beads, like on a pearl necklace. You're just putting one right after another, right on this line outside. And it's something that comes with time. I've always been of the opinion that, it takes a few minutes to learn something, but it takes maybe a lifetime to master it. And that is, you just have to keep listening to this outer ear and get into the habit of, if you can hear from the inside, differentiate that from what it sounds like inside and what it sounds like outside. And one way to doing that is, if you can't do it from the inside of your head like you're doing, is that make a tape of yourself. A lot of good quality phone recordings and that sort of thing these days, that just tape yourself singing and pick something you think you're pretty good at, and then when you're done, listen to it. And when you hear it, that's going to be pretty much how everybody else hears it. And see if there's any difference between the way you're hearing it and the way it's sounding to everybody else, because that in itself is telling you that, you need to focus on singing to the outer side of your ear. You got to put it outside. And then when you do that, there's also the benefits that happen for that is, one, the music sounds so much better because you're going to stay in pitch, and also your notes all kind of form in this beautiful line. And you get your voice kind of in line, it's like, there's one beautiful note after another beautiful note after another beautiful note, and they all come out together. Combination, you can hear sometimes when you get used to doing this, you can hear people that kind of sing and they're going kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. And yet, to really free your voice up is like you have to put it all on the outside, and like a string of pearls, And that's pretty much most of what I have to say today. And we're going to be following up with other things, and everything's going to kind of laugh over onto another thing. But like I said, if you like this, many people like to share things in the business who are other professionals. They'd like to hear what other people have to say. But also, what is close to my heart is people who want to learn how to sing, want to improve upon their singing, but honestly just maybe can't afford voice teachers and that sort of thing at this point in time. And it's like, okay, well, here's some pointers, here's some things that you can get, that you can guys start working on. And like I said, use your own phone device, start singing some songs, but just singing them a cappella. Don't sing it with a bunch of music coming up behind you, because they can support you and keep you all in pitch and everything. But learn how to sing by just getting everything in line on your own. And so hopefully got a phone to work with. And if you know a friend who wants to sing, or you have youngster who wants to study voice and that kind of thing, but you don't really know if they're ready for do voice lessons, that kind of thing, well, I encourage you to share this video with them. And so, because I'm going to do a whole series of things at least once a week, and we're going to concentrate on different aspects of singing. And they'll give you tools like I just did to kind of how you can play out some of these things. We might even get into some auditioning tips, and at some point we might even develop some workshops in terms of where we all might just actually, if we think strong enough that we can, submit our own little videos to this channel, then we could take time, kind of listen to each other and give each other pointers as we're kind of in this process of learning. At some point, I might actually like to take on some students, and I have done that in the past, but honestly I find it completely exhausting, and I really have to have a lot of energy and time for that, which I do not have either which right now. I work full-time, and I have a lot of rescue animals in my home, and I have people who need to take care of in my house, and I do all the shopping, and so I just honestly don't have the time for that. And at some point I also like to get back into doing singing telegrams, just doing it by video this way, where people give me some information about people on their birthdays and that sort of thing, and come up with a nice little song for them. And I want to do that again at some point too, but that's all time permitting, and that's not something I'm able to do yet at this point. And sometime maybe in the future, if I'm not doing this job full time, I'll have time to do that maybe later. So I hope you've got something out of this video, and like I said, if you like it, subscribe so you can get more things in the future, or send it off to somebody you think might enjoy the information that we're going to share. And there's going to be a whole series of this, like say once a week, and we're going to find some other aspect to just really fine-tune it down so you can do as much work as you can here on your own. So hey, thanks very much, and as we say, ciao.